All right, guys, I have not watched this video yet, but I wanted to go through and see this because Trump just had a massive win on the China tariffs. If you guys haven't been following what's been going on in China since these tariff wars have started, is Trump knew it. It's happening, and he's not getting the respect he deserves on this one. This is a huge, huge W, and I'm going to cover it because if I don't, no one else fucking will. So let's watch this video together.
First off, your reaction, and what could you tell us about the China deal that has tariffs dropping from 145, 125 respectively to 30 and 10?
This is an extraordinary first step in the right direction, and thanks to the strength of President Trump, Secretary Bessent and Ambassador Greer were able to cut this initial deal with China. China agreed to reduce their tariffs on the United States by 115%. They also agreed to continue having discussions about opening Chinese markets to American-made products and goods, and they also agreed to continue seriously discussing the grave impact that Chinese-produced fentanyl is having right here in the United States.
So here's the thing, guys. What people don't understand about China is the amount of money that they make on us is unbelievable. If you don't believe me, go on Twitter and go look at all the factories, all the uprisings, all the bankruptcies, and everything that's happened just from Trump putting these in. Notice you don't see that in our country, do you? Weird. Why? Because Trump knew before you fight the fucking biggest dog in the cage, you got to have an army of dogs with you. So he's made deals and trade deals and reciprocal deals with a ton of other countries before he went after China. Right? And the reason is because you can't just go out and start fighting everybody, because if the big dog on the other side says, well, no, you're either going to choose my side or his side, well, the problem is then you have real issues. But if you go out and get every little dog on your side first and then say, hey, this big dog's fucking us, let's all go corner this big dog. Guess what happens? The big dog loses. Okay? And that is exactly what happened here. Trump is not an idiot. Okay? You guys can say whatever you want about him from a personality standpoint, from how he's handled different issues, but when it comes to business, you can't fuck with the guy. I'm sorry. He's done a great job in business. He's built real things his entire life. He's a G when it comes to negotiating deals. That's what he's built his entire wealth on. And people try to discount this, that, or the other. But here's the thing. He's a celebrity who became the president of the United States. He's a businessman who became the president of the United States. He became those things because he's obviously produced a result to net him enough clout to get enough voters to win that. So while you may think that, you're obviously in the minority. Shut the fuck up. Okay? This deal was always going to happen this way. You just had to sit through a little bit of pain to get there. But if these tariffs go low and then Trump's still making 10 to 30%, plus they stop putting fentanyl in our fucking country, plus all the other deals where they're bringing factories into Mexico and Canada and everything else, now that he's got both of them on his side, he's going to be able to be the dominant world power. That is the goal. You want your country to be the best. You want your country to be number one. If you are in charge of the country, that is your primary objective. In the simplest of terms, the job of the president is to make the United States the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. The richest, the most powerful, the most military, the most economic, the most prosperity, the most benefits for its people. That is the goal. And he has been consistent with trying to hit his primary objective. And we can argue Democrat or Republican, we can argue all these other side issues, but at the end of the day, you cannot argue the job of the president of the United States. It's to make the United States the baddest motherfucker on the planet. That is the goal. And we would both agree. All sides want that. Even when Joe Biden took office in 2020. Notice what I said there? I said took office. Okay? I did not say he won. I said he took office. When Joe Biden took office in 2020, I made a post on Inauguration Day. And I said, I hope I'm fucking wrong about Joe Biden. And I hope he proves me wrong and makes me eat crow for the next 4 years because he's such a badass and makes America so great. Because realistically, as an American citizen, That's what we want. That's the truth. We just have to, every single election cycle, choose between who's the bigger dipshit or the least amount of evil, right? And who's going to fuck us the hardest. That's the sad reality of the elections that we have. But at the end of the day, every single time somebody comes in power, that is really the outcome that we want. We want to know, can this person make us the baddest motherfuckers on the planet? And if they can, we love it. We want that. Even if we don't agree with their policies, if they make us better, it's still okay, right? We don't always have to agree. We never will. There's never a single human on earth who you agree with everything that they say or how they condone themselves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can look at both sides forever in history on any argument, on anything. There is always two sides, and people can see the arguments on both sides, right? But at the end of the day, it is the outcome that matters. And this is a phenomenal outcome that needs attention brought to it.
United States and our people. So this is a great first step for the American public, and Secretary Bessent, Ambassador Greer, and of course President Trump will continue negotiations with China so we can hopefully inevitably get to a fair and comprehensive big trade deal.
First off, your reaction.
All right, guys. So that is what I'm talking about. Look at this last graph. Look at this last graph. Look at that. U.S. lowers tariffs on Chinese goods from 145 down to 30. And China wants to bring in goods from the U.S. This is another huge thing that most people don't understand. Most of these other countries were charging us tariffs. You can go look this up. They were charging us a shitload of money to bring their shit in and wouldn't even allow our shit in their countries. That is what's insane to me. That is what's just economically absolutely retarded. Okay? He's going in and saying, no, man, like, we're getting fleeced and you need us more than we need you. Like, we don't need Vietnamese goods as much as Vietnam needs America to buy their shit. Right? So either you start acting right and you can still make a ton of money. It's just going to be less money that you're going to make, but you're still going to make a ton of money on us. Or we could just cut you the fuck off. And you're not going to sell your shit to our people, which is a huge portion of your economic ability to function as a country. China was in the exact same boat. Everything that you go to the stores and see is made in China. I shouldn't say everything, but a lot of things. And if we say, yeah, now it's going to cost you double, guess what happens? The companies in America importing that shit stop buying it because their profit margin just went, like, they either have to charge double or their profit margin gets cut by double, which most companies don't function at a profit margin high enough to be able to afford that. So then what happens? This happens. And Apple builds stores, and NVIDIA builds factories, and we build AI engines, and car manufacturers come in, and industry comes back, and all these investments in AI and generation and all these things come pouring into our country. Why? So that they don't have to pay what it costs to make it plus 145% before they can make a dollar. Because as any company, I will tell you as a business owner, that makes shit a lot harder to sell when you have to double and triple your price so that you can make enough margin to function as a healthy company. Trump knows this because Trump has run companies. Trump knows this because Trump does deals with companies and countries and shit all the time. He's 78 years old. He's done this his entire damn life. He knows basic business 101. And the fact that so many people just don't have any concept of reality when it comes to this, but they have opinions, is beyond me. If you've never built anything in real life, you've never built a business that's actually been able to sustain employees so that you actually have economic impact and sales that generate enough to be able to afford your bills and create a great lifestyle for you, kindly shut the fuck up on this one. You don't have any actual tangible experience. You have opinion. You don't have any actual argument or facts. You are an inexperienced pleb who knows absolutely nothing in the real life terminology of what it takes to do anything, or you would have done it and then your opinion would be valid. So until then, shut up. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.